Good evening. I'm David Swotek, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. First, Nebraska women's tennis is adding a new member to the roster for this upcoming season. Transfer Catherine Gagnon spent her first 2 seasons with Washington and changed to become a Husker for her junior season. Born in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Gagnon earned ITA All-Academic honors both freshman and sophomore year, as well as Academic All-Big Ten selection in 2025. The one and only Jordy Ball was named a CSC First-Team Academic All-American. This is the second time she was named an Academic All-American, with second-team recognition at Oklahoma back in 2023. Ball is the third Nebraska softball player and first since 1986 to earn first-team honors, both athletically and academically, in the same year. With this award, it brings Nebraska's Academic All-America award total to 32, ranking first in the Big Ten and third in the nation. And finally, the Husker women's basketball team will be heading to the beach during their Thanksgiving break for some tournament action. The second annual Emerald Coast Classic will be played in Florida on November 24th and 25th. Last season, the Huskers finished 21-12, and at this tournament, they will play 2 games in the 4-team beach bracket at Raider Arena at Northwest Florida State College. Timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 1 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Tight formation, turn, toss it off to a little end around by Barney. He's at the 10-5, touchdown Nebraska. Coor Barney slips in there, taking the pitch on the end around for 10 yards. Down Nebraska stretches the lead to 20-3.
Pickens with a 1-2. Bland rolls the ground ball to third. Gibson charges, backhand stop, throw the first to throw. Wild! Runner safe at first. Squire scores. Now Lauren Cabot's in around third. She dives in safely. The throw wide of the plate. Bland around third. She's going to score. Everybody scores. Everybody scores. A Little League 3-run home run for Sammy Bland. 3-1 Nebraska.
Between the circles now to Wooster and to Morgan. Back to the basket. Comes left. Dribble handoff to Asijan. Took a bump. Drives it. Puts it up. Got it! Holy smokes, what a great goal by Connor Asijan. He's not just a three-point shooter, my friends. 70-67.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome into Sports Nightly on this Tuesday edition. I'm Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley back on with us. We're having a little technical difficulties with our camera system, but you can hear his voice. He's back on the air. Nick, it's been a few days since we've been able to chat. You've done a lot of things. You've been in a grilling contest. How have you been? Thanks for coming back here on Sports Nightly.
Yeah, it's good to be back on with you. I know you took you had a little vacation, and then I was off for a few days, and we're back reunited. And yeah, the barbecue contest on Father's Day, the smash burger contest. I got to give Omaha Steaks and Cross Train proper credit on that one with Matt Rule and Brennan Stye. Of course, everyone knows that's a pretty lethal combination right there. But it was good. It was a good weekend. Got a chance to spend some time with the family, and this was the first time I didn't have any working obligations at the College World Series. So my only work was we were trying to work Coach Rule, and that didn't work out for us.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about it because we talked about it on the show last night, and you had actually sent me a text, and I asked if you won. And so kind of give listeners that might not be aware of what we're even talking about, what it is, how you got involved, and then just the competition overall, what it entailed.
Well, so many good people out there in the Dingerville area. So that's in the just a couple blocks north of the ballpark downtown of Charles Schwab Field. So Dingerville, as many remember, that was the old RV lot in Rosenblatt. So they kind of recreated their own little party atmosphere, and it's only on for that first weekend of the College World Series that they have over in the Millworks Commons area. So Cone Flour's out there. Cross Train Brewing is out there. And then Omaha Steaks partnered with Cross Train. And so between Doug Viskerna, who is one of the GMs at the location out in La Vista for Cross Train, and then Matt Burdett with Omaha Steaks, and who's a friend of mine, had actually reached out. I was having lunch one day and reached out, and they both simultaneously contacted me and said, hey, you need to call me. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And so they asked, what are you doing on Father's Day? And I said, well, really nothing. I mean, unless my wife has some surprise for me, nothing really. And they said, well, we got Matt Rule judging this Smashburger contest. Want to see if you wanted to be one of the celebrity judges. And I thought, well, you guys have a loose term for celebrity if you're having me and you already got Matt Rule. But so I said, yeah, absolutely. My wife and son came down with us as well. Well, then the morning of, we got the overall plans and how everything was going to lay out. And I noticed that Sean Callahan of Husker Online and myself were going to also compete in this thing. And we were going to be taking on Matt Rule and Brendan Stye. And then we would all judge together. Basically, it was a cooking competition, a Smashburger creating competition, but it had essentially 6 different rounds. And so each winner of each round got a pretty cool prize from Omaha Steaks. And so we were the third bout. And I'd like to think we were the heavyweight bout as far as coaches and former players versus the media. And unfortunately, and I got to give Sean Callahan a lot of credit. He came in with a recipe. He's like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, awesome. I didn't even have a recipe, man. I was going in just thinking, we'll create something on the fly. But so Sean was really prepared. His young daughter kind of helped us out. She was sort of our sous chef because I guess she's the one who found the recipe as well. And then so it was Matt Rule and Brendan Stye creating their own. They had to create 2 Smashburgers, and then we had to create 2 Smashburgers. Same burger, but you doubled it up. And then you had 20 minutes to do it. And then as soon as your 20 minutes was up, you were judged on crowd engagement, creativity, taste obviously was a big one. And gosh, there was a couple other elements that I'm trying to remember. I think the creativity then went with, and then the ingredients used as well. So yeah, we were kind of going back and forth. It was hot back there, and then
I can imagine.
Matt Rule put his down, and you know, Coach Rule, he just has a way of working the crowd really well, and so he got to talk about their burger at first, and he left it, as they said, the hood open. He didn't put the top of the bun on the burgers because he wanted to display what they had going. So his presentation, that was another category, and he made reference to the tomato and how it's. There was, I wish I could remember exactly how he said it, but he made some type of reference to the old pipeline, something about the beef, and then, of course, the tomato representing the red. And as he said, representing the red, he yelled out a "Go Big Red," and of course everybody got into that. So then we were to describe ours afterwards, and Sean did it, and Sean did a great job. But at that point, it's like we lost that popular vote right there. From a taste standpoint, I didn't get a chance to taste theirs. But they also went with egg. We went with egg and bacon on ours. Ours was what Sean labeled it the Big Red breakfast burger, and I thought it held up pretty well. I enjoyed sampling ours. I thought it was really good. So, yeah, we lost. I was told by another one of the judges that was also a competitor. He said he had us tied. So for whatever that's worth, at least one judge thought we tied.
Okay, so because you had texted me, you're like, we lost the popular vote, basically. So makes sense, though, if he got to get up there and had a whole spiel playing, because we all know how Coach Rule is on the mic. But what about, I think people might be interested, what'd you do to the actual burger? How did you guys season that? Well, and this is, had I had a chance to do it over again, we didn't overly season it. But what I realized on these grills, because the last one that I judged, I'm watching, it was the folks from Circa, from the Circa Sportsbook. They were putting so much seasoning on theirs when I was watching them, and I'm thinking, man, this is gonna have a lot of flavor, but is there such thing as over flavoring it? And then when I bit into theirs, I was like, this is fantastic. It was so good. So if we could have done it over again, I think we would have seasoned it more than what we did. But we went with basic. There was an Omaha Steaks burger seasoning, and then we went with just some salt and pepper. We didn't get overly crazy on the seasoning, but we had
egg. We had bacon. We went with some provolone cheese.
Provolone, like it.
Yeah, and then we buttered the one just little saucepan that we ended up using all of the ingredients. We didn't go heavy on. We didn't do onions or anything because again, we wanted to make it pretty simple with burger, bacon, egg, and then we had a tomato on top. But we also did butter and lightly toast the buns as well. And did we have lettuce? Oh, and then we had lettuce. We had lettuce as well.
Well, I'm sorry you lost, but it sounds like a valiant effort, and you discovered a new recipe, and that we've now shared to the listeners here on Sports Nightly. But Coach Roll's been everywhere. I mean, they've been so busy down here. They had a big recruiting weekend last weekend. I know it'll be closing up here. I know the recruiting period will close here soon, but he's again embracing this, and Damon and I were talking about this last night. It just he thrives in those kinds of environments, even when maybe not every head football coach would, but it just seems like no matter what you put him in, he knocks it out of the park.
It's truly amazing, and this was one of the first engagements I've had with him where he's in that environment where at one point I almost kind of feel sorry for him because he just doesn't say no. But I kind of stopped short of feeling sorry for him because I think he thrives in it. And I think he genuinely loves being around people. There was not one person that he said no or give me a second to take a picture. He'd be in the middle of cooking and someone was trying to get like a picture of him and he would do his best to pose. He's so engaging with everyone. And I think this was a conversation I was having later on with just a regular passerby that was watching the competition, and they said, I just don't know if previous coaches would be that accommodated, and I agreed with it. And again, that's not to bring up previous coaches. I just think there are a lot of coaches that they want to stick to the business of football. They'll go and support other athletic events and teams that are in big moments. We would always see Mac Brown at the College World Series, but you don't see him also participating in cooking competitions as well. I think there's always just that general rule of thumb as a head coach. You support your fellow colleagues in the athletics department, but not only does Matt Rule do that, but he goes above and beyond to make himself extremely visible in the community, whether it's Omaha or Lincoln. And I know for a fact it's not an act. I think he just genuinely enjoys being around people. And we talked about this so many times about how he's very savvy of representing the brand of Nebraska so well and making sure that is alive and well, and it's modern. It still has that cool factor because the face of that program is Matt Rule. And every big event, whether it's in Omaha, Lincoln, or in the Midwest, heck, sometimes even outside the Midwest, Matt Rule finds his way there because he understands how important that could be. And it goes back to the first thing you just brought up right there with recruiting. When you just don't know who you're going to cross paths with or what type of an impression you're going to make on somebody that maybe is not even on your radar yet, but 2 or 3 years down the road, these are recruits that remember seeing Matt Rule at a WWE event or remember seeing him at a NASCAR event. Like, man, that guy is cool. I would love to play for him someday. And all of a sudden, the kid turns out to be extremely talented, and he's back on the radar, and all of a sudden, Nebraska's knocking on the door. Matt Rule is making a visit, and he says, hey, you know what? I remember you at this thing, and you were awesome. I always wanted to play for you. It's those impressions that I think he continues to create, not only with the fans, but with potential younger fans that at some point could impact the program in years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not like it's a knock to any other football coach. It's just that not everybody is I feel like he's a little bit of a rare breed in how he is able to do so many different things and thrive in so many different situations. I think that's a testament to just his overall character and personality, just how he's wired, even outside of being a football coach, that just some people have that kind of charisma and ability to do that and relate in all different situations. He's one of those people, and it just not everybody is like that. I mean, and other football coaches might be, really talented in other areas, but I think that's where he has started to separate himself, and especially with these recruits now that are coming out and saying why they want to play for him is some of those reasons right there, but then also just he's so genuine and he's honest and you believe him. And so when you are going back to being in that kind of moment around fans, you know, he is believable, not even just to recruits, but to any other person that comes across him. I mean, it's just, that's just how he is.
Yeah, the authenticity is what struck me the most, of seeing him in that environment where I was at first just an observer watching the dozens of fans that were at this event continuing to want to get pictures with him, and never once did you see an eye roll or anything of, oh gosh, I guess I got to do this. Like, he hammed it up, and he had conversations with the people that were involved with the event, but also people that were just sitting there to watch the event. He was always extremely accommodating to them, and so that to me tells me he's comfortable in that situation. He enjoys it. But even, again, there's that, what we always hear the recruits talk about. You brought up that connection with Matt Rule, but they always talk about that family atmosphere with the coaches as well. Dana Holgerson was hanging out as well. So he was just there checking out what was going on. I don't know if they ended up going to the game that night altogether, but you know, you have some of the coaches that are with you too. They're taking part in something that is a huge deal to the state of Nebraska this time of the year in the College World Series. But not only are they taking part in it, they're making sure that the fans are able to get their pictures with them, or able to have a quick conversation with them. And I mean, from young kids, I mean, my son was so excited to meet him, and he was great with all of the little kids as well. And the poor guy, I don't know why he decided to wear long pants, but he did. He was sweating like crazy, as we all were. So you know that he wasn't necessarily, from a physical standpoint, all that comfortable, because it was super hot, and he was dressed like it was in the 60s. But it was impressive to see it, and then just having a couple conversations with him, away from the actual competition. I mean, he's the same guy that you hear at the podium, that is able to talk about each one of those players that wears the uniform, each one of those coaches that he relies so heavily on, and all of the colleagues that he has in that athletic department. When he talks about them with so much passion and so much belief in what Nebraska's doing, you get that same type of feel when you're having a candid conversation like I had a few minutes to do with him as well.
All right, let's talk from Husker football recruiting to Husker volleyball recruiting. Yesterday opened up the window when high school juniors can officially talk to and commit to their future colleges. And Husker volleyball, once again, with a haul in this recruiting class. So if you had any doubts on how Danny Busboom Kelly would carry the torch, she's got another great recruiting class lined up. We talked last night about Mallory Bosinger, the setter out of Norris High School. But since the show ended to today, a couple more big-time commitments, including the #1 recruit in the nation, and Kendall Umorui. I don't even know if I'm saying her name right, and I tried to look it up. It's Umorui. So Umorui, how would you say that?
I know, Nick? I've tried. I'm trying to tap into the old hockey PA announcing, and this one is a tough. I think it's
Umorui.
Yeah, Amori. I'm not
Amori.
sure.
There, I think that's right. Amori. Yeah. I apologize for butchering the name. I looked all over to try to find the enunciation. I couldn't find it. So. Amori.
We need to learn her name, I think. I think we really need to learn her name, and we will.
I agree. The #1 recruit in the nation, a middle blocker, and another #1 recruit in the nation headed to Lincoln. That's several now that have come through here.
Well, and what's so cool is this is another player that Nebraska's had that is part of that U.S. Junior National Volleyball team. She's in a pool of players that's going to have a chance to make the U.S. roster again in August, too. So this is a competitor at the highest level as a very young high school athlete right now, 6'4" middle blocker. And so you're looking at, and even from that Gilbert, Arizona area where we see a lot of good football players come from that area, volleyball players come from that area, baseball players that come from that area too. And so there's so much of that elite competition that you see a lot of these players, even the younger recruits and the juniors, that they have that type of work already underneath their belt, that they are playing, whether we're talking about junior national volleyball or we're talking about absolute elite club level volleyball, and that this particular Amori is part of that. So I'm excited to see how this continues to happen. But Jessica, this is the one thing that we were so excited if there was a time that John Cook decided to step aside, you knew that it was going to have to be for the right hire and that there was going to have to be some type of succession to take place. And that succession plan was Danny Busboom-Kelly. And so I think this is just another example of curiosity of if there would be any cracks in the foundation when you have a transition, which I think is extremely common when you go from one legendary coach that not only meant so much to the state, but also meant so much to the sport of college volleyball, one of the true advocates of the game and at the college level that has helped it grow so much, that it'd only be natural to see a little bit of a hiccup with the transition when it comes to recruiting and talent acquisition. But clearly that's not the case. And it helps that Danny Busboom-Kelly has shown not only to be someone who understands the Nebraska system, but was recruiting at an elite level at Louisville as well. So I think this is that first wave and validation of, okay, you know the play on the court and players, this current roster really likes her and really believes in her and her vision. But it also shows that that younger group and that next wave of Nebraska volleyball players not only buy into the Nebraska volleyball system, but especially Danny Busboom-Kelly.
The other commitment that's coming in was the libero, Hua Lakana, right? The libero, another one of those ones that's familiar, has played on the highest of levels, the elite teams with some of these current Huskers. But, you know, to your point, I think that shows that these young, the top talent in the country, even, you know, 2 years away from it, fully believe and are invested that Nebraska is going to continue to be Nebraska volleyball, and it's still the premier place to play, even with the changing of the guard. It just speaks volumes to, like you said, Danny Busboom-Kelly, that there's belief that it's going to continue on the same trajectory, but also just the program that's been built up years over years over years, that, hey, there's no wavering, no faltering. We believe that Nebraska is going to continue on and want to continue to be a part of this premier program.
Well, and I remember Amurier saying about the documentary and the 30 for 30 that was done, or I should say the E60. Was it an E60 or it was an E60? Mm-hmm. Sorry. I don't know. Sometimes it's tough to tell the difference between the E60s and the 30 for 30s. But the documentary in No Place Like Nebraska, how even that having an impact on some of these recruits. And we knew it could have that type of impact. You knew it at the very least it wasn't going to hurt Nebraska. The only thing that I think it was always going to show for Nebraska is it takes a special type of student athlete to wear that uniform. And you've got to have thick skin. You've got to understand that the fans are going to treat you like rock stars, but there's so many of those fans that, you know, sometimes maybe that attention can be a little uncomfortable, but if you want to be a part of that Nebraska volleyball machine, it takes a certain type of competitor. And so I don't want to say this because I think there's a lot of great players that play the sport of volleyball that maybe have Nebraska on their radar, don't ultimately choose Nebraska. I don't want to make it sound like, well, they're not cut out for it, but I think it absolutely, when people, and you have girls that sign that letter of intent, they know. I think especially that documentary is a good example. They know what they're getting themselves into, and I think that they're excited about that. Yeah,
you got to compete. You got to want to compete, and not just when you're playing the matches against the opponents. It's every single day, and that's I sat down and talked to Rebecca Alec about that. About it's a different animal here, and you got to come ready to go, put your bootstraps on every single day because of the level of talent. But I think again that speaks to a lot of these players have, aspirations of continuing their career both at a professional level and even representing Team USA, going to the Olympics. And so that's what it takes to continue to train to be there. And so it does. I mean, like you said, not saying that it's not like that everywhere, but it's certainly not like that everywhere, like what it is here, where it is a different kind of animal when you come to the gym day in and day out, and just being able to know that, you've got to balance both competing to earn the playing time, but then there's still that camaraderie and that chemistry. It's just, I don't know how they do it, but they are very, very close, and they understand the battles they're going through. They might compete in the gym, but then they're best friends when they walk out of it. It is really special, just what they've built that you just don't find everywhere.
The thing that I think is really cool about this next wave of talent. And I think you mentioned compete. And so obviously on the court, but I think for past classes, some of the ones that will graduate, you mentioned Rebecca Alec, and, after she has her final season, I think there's going to be a sense of pride with these new classes coming in and these first Danny Busman-Kelly recruiting classes that come in that are going to want to have their mark as well, that are going to remember the Rebecca Alec class. They're going to remember the Lainey Choboy class. They're going to remember a lot of those, the Harper Murray class. They're going to remember that. And they're going to say, all right, they made their mark. We got to make our mark too. And we're going to make our mark. We're going to make our new coach proud of what we do for 3, 4, 5 years. And so that's another part of that competition and that ability to have that edge that I think makes Nebraska stand out from other volleyball programs is that constant competition, not only on the floor of the current roster, but I think with previous classes that have since gone on to graduate or have left and gone on the transfer portal, that you want to be that next great class, and you want to do so knowing that you're the first couple of the new coach in the new era of Husker volleyball.
All right, good stuff there. We got to get to a break. I am pushing it here, but you're going to be coming back hour number 2, joining us there, so we'll have more from Nick Hanley here coming up in just a little bit. The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. We're back with more of the show coming up after this.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Who are you?
I'm the truck fairy.
You mean the tooth fairy?
No, truck fairy. I appear when someone dreams about winning one of the 8 new trucks in the Nebraska Lottery's Trucks and Bucks scratch game.
Oh, so you leave Trucks and Bucks tickets under my pillow?
No.
Cash?
Sorry.
What exactly do you do?
Remind people to play today.
Don't think I need a truck fairy for that.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Play Trucks and Bucks from your Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule, with your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or get us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sappbros.net/Huskers.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and there's been a ton of recruiting news and buzz surrounding Husker football over the last few weeks, and we thought we'd dive into it even more here tonight on the show with the director of scouting for 24/7 Sports, Andrew Ivins, who's out now LA for the Elite 11 finals. Andrew, I know you're super busy, so thanks for spending some time with us.
Of course, right? Hey, it's busy season. It used to be February during signing day, but as college football evolves, so does the recruiting calendar, and this is go time when everyone's making decisions, and then obviously you have the off-season camp, so glad to be here.
Well, you were recently here in Lincoln for the Battle of the Boneyard, the 7-on-7 event here, the first one that Coach Roll and the staff has done, and I know you took a lot of it in, got to tour the facilities, but overall, what were your big takeaways when you left Lincoln from that event?
Biggest takeaway is to steal line from the Field of Dreams, right? You build it, they will come. And, to kind of go behind the scenes here, very plugged in with kind of the Adidas grassroots effort. And they kind of reached out a few months before the event and said, hey, Nebraska's doing something super unique. They're going to get all these clubs 7-on-7 teams to Lincoln, and we'd love for you to be there. And right away, me and Tom Loy, who's a national recruiting analyst for 24/7 Sports, we thought, hey, the potential for this event is through the roof. And I thought it lived up to the billing. I mean, Nebraska, obviously, pretty isolated in terms of, the college football where the recruiting hotbeds are located. So we thought a lot of talent would be there. It was there. And then really, tying it back to that, you build it, they'll come. The new football facility that Nebraska has, that kind of really stole the show for me. And now I haven't been everywhere around the country, but I've been to a lot of Big Ten schools, a lot of SEC schools, and kind of seen the setups they have. And to me, Nebraska, what they've constructed there, and I know it's been quite the project, and Matt Rule certainly, when he was hired, kind of, did some tweaks and got it his way. I mean, I think for players, you're not going to find a better spot to go and get developed and get coached up. I mean, if your goal is to make the NFL, with Matt Rule there at Nebraska, just the facilities are what you're looking for. I mean, the dining, the training, the recovery, the weight room, the indoor practice facility, it flows all into the stadium. And to me, I don't think NFL organizations have that kind of infrastructure.
Did you have one part of the building that was the biggest wow moment? One, I guess, area that they've built in there?
I mean, I don't know what I can say. It seems like Nebraska, for good reason, is trying to keep it a little under wraps. Which, hey, I totally agree with. To me, the hot tubs in the recruiting facility. I got a pool. I'm located in Orlando, Florida. I thought I had a big pool. And then I saw like the hot tub that is maybe two times the size of my swimming pool. So I think the recovery facilities and the sports training, right? They got like individual exam rooms for student athletes. And, I think so much of when we think about college football, it's just what you see, for 12 Saturdays a year, but there's so much more to that ecosystem. I mean, these guys are training year round. I mean, and the way Nebraska has it set up, football, physical contact sport, nicks and bruises, injuries are going to happen. And, that was very, very impressive what I saw And then finally, also the dining facility. Matt Rule, he wants that team to eat together. I believe, the other Nebraska athletic programs are in there as well. Yep. I think the basketball team, the women's basketball team was in there, but it's got everything you think and then more. There's like an avocado toast bar. There's like a coffee bar. But I think the setup, how they have the team eating at least 2 meals a day together, it creates an environment where people want to be there. And in the current transactional world we live in, with guys entering the transfer portal, Matt Rule and Nebraska have created something where, hey, if you're going to leave and you're going to go to another program, you're not just telling Matt Rule. You got to tell your teammates, you got to tell the assistant coaches, you got to tell the sports staff, the people that you're eating with, hey, I'm leaving this. So I thought the dining facility was top notch. And I will say, without a doubt, probably the best I've seen when it comes to that, the training table.
Oh, that's awesome. You guys had talked about, the overall recruiting, targeting what Coach Rule and the staff was doing. It wasn't just about the players that were on the 7-on-7. It was a recruiting weekend overall. But we've seen a number of commitments, or a couple of commitments, come since then. How much momentum, not even just like here in the immediate future, but even moving forward, do you think this program gained from the overall event of the Battle at the Boneyard?
Yeah, I had a chance to chat real quick with Matt Rule, and he brought up, the focus of this event was never the class of 2026, which would be the rising seniors. Again, with how accelerated the recruiting has become, most of these guys already have their top schools. They know where they're taking their official visits, and by July 4th weekend, they're going to be committed to wherever they plan to play college football, and that's before their senior season. So the focus for Rule and his staff was those underclassmen, right? The younger kids, and getting them exposure to Lincoln, getting them exposure to the new facility, allowing them to see what Nebraska has to offer. Just the feedback from some of the players and the 7-on-7 coaches that are very well traveled, right? They go to these schools all around the country. I mean, kids and adults were blown away, and that's so important, because as these prospective student athletes try to figure out, all right, where do I want to go to school? They're going to get influenced by people that are in their corners, those coaches. So the focus, I think, was on the underclassmen, and they hit it out of the park. By my count, we have a top 247 for the class of 2027. So that would be the rising high school juniors. I counted close to 24 of those individuals were in town, either playing or just making visits. And if you're Nebraska, now you got them there on their own dime. They saw our facilities. We've started that relationship. It's going to be much easier to get them back for an official visit when it comes decision time for them before their senior season. So I thought it was excellent. And then, looking big picture, all right, we're entering year 3 of Matt Rule's era. If you go to his previous stops, what he did at Temple, what he did at Baylor, year 3 of the rebuild was when they kind of broke through and got to double-digit wins at Baylor, at Temple. To me, Nebraska, a little bit softer of a schedule. And the thing is, they got Dylan Raiola, who was very present the entire weekend I was there. We saw him everywhere. And I think he's kind of one of these forgotten quarterbacks in college football. I mean, yeah, was there some bumps in his rookie campaign? Absolutely. But then again, he's a young, true freshman. Those guys aren't expected to succeed. So I think he has a chance to take a major step in year 2. Everyone in that facility around the program seems to agree. And what I'm trying to get at is, Nebraska could be lining things up for a very special season. And where is that going to pay off? It's not going to be the class of 2026. It's going to be in 2027. And in that 2027 cycle, they already got a quarterback committed in Trey Taylor, who's one of the top signal callers for his age in the country. He participated in the Battle at the Boneyard, and he was excellent from start to finish. And he has turned into a Pied Piper for the Huskers when it comes to peer recruiting. He's trying to get talent to join him there in Lincoln.
visiting with Andrew Ivins of 24/7 Sports, the director of scouting there for 24/7. I was going to ask you specifically about Trey Taylor. For those of us that might not have seen him play as much, we might be more impressed with his recruiting and what he's added to that element of it. But as you've been able to watch him and evaluate him, what makes him special as a quarterback on the field for Husker fans?
He's kind of a quarterback protege, right? And he is someone that has been on the recruiting scene for a long time. And every cycle we have a few of these kids where, you know, they get a lot of hype as young middle schoolers, and then they arrive on the high school scene, and it's like, all right, you know, time to put up or shut up. And a lot of them fall off. Some of them certainly live up to the billing. And you got to remember, we're talking about 14, 15, 16-year-olds. These kids are growing by the day. Their bodies are changing. How they view the world is changing. So it's a lot of development. And Trey Taylor was one of those kids we knew about early on. Didn't start as a true freshman at his high school. So you're kind of wondering, all right, like, where is he at? And then the sophomore season, you know, if you look at the statistics, it's kind of not what you would want to see. He didn't have a winning record. You know, there were some turnovers in there. So you're like, all right, I don't know if Trey Taylor is going to be this guy. But then you pop on the game tape, and to me, he's a kid that he sees it so well for being how old he is and where he is in his developmental stage, right? He can work through his progressions. He can get the ball out fast. He's not a guy that's late on his throws. I think his pocket mobility is kind of one of his superpowers at this stage. His ability to play in the face of pressure when the protection isn't always clean. That's what really shows up to me. And then he can escape. So, you know, liked what he put on tape as a sophomore. And then I think I've seen him throw 3 or 4 times this offseason, and every time it's been better and better. At the Battle of the Boneyard, you know, he was playing for the Miami Raw organization, a bunch of South Florida kids. He didn't know any of these individuals, but it looked like he had been playing with them, you know, for the past 3 or 4 years. I mean, he just clicked with that offensive system. The final 3 games, right, so that would have been elimination play when they started. I had him like 24 of 32 passing with 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I don't even think he threw a turnover-worthy pass. I wouldn't have scored him one like that. Now, obviously, it's two-hand touch, and, you know, it's a different type of game than what happens under the lights. But to me, Trey Taylor, he's got a chance. And I think the junior year is going to be key. All right, what does it look like when, you know, adversity does hit, and you have to be the fighter pilot? But so far, so good this offseason. And then finally, the physical features. I mean, he's 6'3". I think he's close to 180 pounds. I mean, this is a kid, our first number on him, he was 160 pounds. So I think he has a chance to eventually get to 200, 215 pounds, and that's exactly what you want to see at the position, especially playing in the Big Ten, which is a physical scrimmage league.
Last thing I got for you, just you guys sing pretty high praises of Coach Rule and just the trajectory of the program. And if they get more wins, they're going to keep getting some of this high-level talent, and which obviously it's the circle that goes on, right? But what makes you believe, after you've gotten to know him and chat with him, just that Coach Rule is going to continue to build this thing up and eventually compete for national titles again here at Nebraska?
Well, I mean, I think he's a program builder, and you know, when Nebraska hired Matt Rule, I kind of joked I was going to start calling it Lengthton, right? Like, because he's a guy that's all about like length and verified data. And you go to his time again at Temple and Baylor. I mean, he is producing Sunday players at stops that usually don't turn out NFL talent. So I always knew, you know, they were going to get guys with developmental upside. Now you're giving him this facility where it is an oasis for player development. I think the biggest thing for Matt Rule is they have to find the right individuals that want to be there for the right reasons. And if you think about recruits right now, you know, they have more pressure and outside factors going into their decisions than ever before, just with, you know, the compensation and, you know, this marketing opportunity, that marketing opportunity. Matt Rule has to find the individuals that want to make the NFL and see the long-term vision. And those individuals exist, right? Not everyone is about the short-term dollar figure. There are certainly recruits, families you speak with that see the long-term goal, and it's making it to the NFL, and it's getting that second contract. So, he's 13-13. I'm shooting from the hip there. Sorry. I think that's his record. And I look at the 2D. I see a lot of guys that we ranked high. Dylan Raiola, big fan of him, and I'm a bigger fan after spending time around him and talking with some of the Nebraska players. I think he's the head of the snake there. I think everyone is kind of rallying around him. I think the fact that he is flying under the radar, is a good thing. And I think Nebraska has a chance to surprise some people. And if they can, challenge for 10 wins, that's going to give them the opportunity to go for, a top 20 recruiting class in 2027. So they got to win on the field, but I think the parts and the pieces are there. And, Matt Rule, what he's been able to accomplish and the direction he has, bringing in Pat Stewart to be the general manager from the NFL, all the ducks are kind of aligning there. And I'm excited to see what the next few years look like.
Incredible stuff. Thank you so much for your time again. I know you are so busy, but I really appreciate your perspective with us here on Sports Nightly.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on.
Again, Andrew Ivins, the director of scouting of 24/7 Sports, joining us here tonight from the Elite 11 finals out there in LA. Great coverage. Really appreciated their coverage from the Battle of the Boneyard, and really appreciate his time here on Sports Nightly. Got into a lot of stuff there. So give him a follow on social media. We got to step aside for a break. More of the show coming up after this.
Who are you?
I'm the truck fairy.
You mean the tooth fairy?
No, truck fairy. I appear when someone dreams about winning one of the 8 new trucks in the Nebraska Lottery's Trucks and Bucks scratch game.
Oh, so you leave Trucks and Bucks tickets under my pillow?
No.
Cash?
Sorry.
What exactly do you do?
Remind people to play today.
Don't think I need a truck fairy for that.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Play Trucks and Bucks from your Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
This season, step up to the plate with exceptional offers at Woodhouse Ford. For a limited time, you pay what we pay, with exclusive employee pricing on the full lineup of award-winning vehicles. From the built tough F-150 to the versatile Bronco, it's your chance to drive home a new Ford with a deal that truly knocks it out of the park. View inventory and our exclusive offers online, or visit Woodhouse Ford at our 3 locations in Blair, Omaha, and Plattsmouth.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. I apologize. I went way too long, totally mistimed those first two segments, so we got to go ahead and get to our final break, but we're back to wrap up hour number one right after this.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing available across a full lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Employee pricing, you pay what we pay. Only from your local Ford dealer.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Hey, Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Welcome back. Final minute here of hour number one of Sports Nightly. So College World Series action. UCLA had to continue the weather delay game from last night. Lost to LSU this morning. They're back in action tonight taking on Arkansas. Had the bases loaded in the top of the first. And third out, a guy gets called out stealing home. UCLA challenged it. It was confirmed. So leave the bases loaded, get called out trying to steal home. And Arkansas, in the bottom of the first, just hit a two-run home run. So currently Arkansas leading UCLA 2-0 in the first. All right, we got another great second hour coming up where you're going to have Nick Hanley rejoin us and talk I don't even remember what we talked about. So we'll have Nick Hanley coming back. Also, Hannah Coor, one of the new additions to Husker softball out of the transfer portal. We're going to chat with her coming up and her decision to spend her last season with Husker softball, rejoin forces with Jordy Ball, who is one of her best friends. So we'll have all of that coming up here, hour number two. So keep it here on Sports Nightly. Much more to come on the other side of this.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Sophistication meets performance in your new vehicle from Woodhouse Cadillac. Explore special financing and exclusive offers happening now. Lease the Cadillac XT5 Premium Luxury for $435 a month for 48 months and 10,000 miles per year. Visit us in store or online at woodhousecadillac.com. with approved credit. Stock number KK240121. Tax title license extra. $0 at signing. Must currently lease a GM vehicle to qualify. Courtesy transportation vehicle with 3,012 miles. Offer expires 6/30/2025. See dealer for details.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule, with your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or get us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sappbros.net/Huskers.
Good evening. I'm David Swotek, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. First, Nebraska women's tennis is adding a new member to the roster for this upcoming season. Transfer Catherine Gagnon spent her first 2 seasons with Washington and changed to become a Husker for her junior season. Born in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Gagnon earned ITA All-Academic honors both freshman and sophomore year, as well as Academic All-Big Ten selection in 2025. The one and only Jordy Ball was named a CSC First-Team Academic All-American. This is the second time she was named an Academic All-American, with second-team recognition at Oklahoma back in 2023. Ball is the third Nebraska softball player and first since 1986 to earn first-team honors both athletically and academically in the same year. With this award, it brings Nebraska's Academic All-America award total to 32, ranking first in the Big Ten and third in the nation. And finally, the Husker women's basketball team will be heading to the beach during their Thanksgiving break for some tournament action this year. The second annual Emerald Coast Classic will be played in Florida on November 24th and 25th. Last season, the Huskers finished 21-12, and at this tournament, they will play 2 games in the 4-team beach bracket at Raider Arena at Northwest Florida State College. Timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is second hour of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Pianto set first offering. That ball's driven up the middle. Coming around third is Dylan Carey. The throw is offline. The Huskers win it. The Huskers win it. Nebraska will march on.
Wing to the near side. Snap back. Has some time. Steps, throws down the field. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by Sierra Wright to 30, 25, 20. Sierra down the near sideline. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska. Sierra Wright with a pick 6 for Nebraska. And the Huskers have taken the lead on the road.
Rindahl, a couple of ball fakes, bounces into Prince at half court. And Prince is going to make a run on a falter. Steps back for 3 to tie the game. You betcha! Biggest shot of that freshman's young career. Timeout! We're tied at 75. Britt Prince is 19. She steps back and sticks a 3-pointer, her 5th of the night.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Nick Hanley rejoining us here at the top of this hour. I'm Jessica Coody. Nick, I can't believe it took me this long to take a shot at you, but last place once again in the golf picks.
I don't know if I'm more upset about the overall playing conditions. I mean, it is a U.S. Open, right? And Oakmont was horrible. I mean, that was a true U.S. Open where you're seeing if a guy can just get into red numbers, then you're feeling like they got a shot. I mean, I know there was U.S. Opens before, but didn't they have the rainy conditions on Sunday just to kind of add that extra element? I don't know if I blame Oakmont or just, again, really bad picks. I mean, Ludwig Oberg, Tommy Fleetwood don't even make the cut again. I mean, I gotta just start throwing darts at a dartboard, apparently. So yes, I was bad. It was very bad.
You know who won again, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was me. My Victor
I saw
Hovland
you
pick paid off.
Yes. I had them all written down on who had what, and I wasn't just watching for my own sake, but I'm like, gosh, please don't let Jessica win again. Come on, I'm never going to hear the end of this one.
You should
Of course, when I saw Hovland up there, I'm like, come on.
Maybe you should start taking notes on how I do things, and maybe you can be more competitive the next time around. Okay.
At least not last place. My gosh.
You've been last both times. Even to Jake, who came on here, I had to twist his arm to even participate because he said, I don't know anything about golf. And he beat you. He got second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yep. That's Good stuff right there.
Felt like
we still got the Open Championship, right? We still got the British Open coming up.
Just felt like I needed to make sure and let you know, even though we talked about it last night. The other thing I wanted to get to, this came out today. So did you see the quote from the Vanderbilt quarterback, Diego Pavia, with Bussin' with the Boys, with Will Compton?
Yes, and talking about how you're not going to get the same type of competition out of
let me
teams
read
like
it.
Purdue and Nebraska.
Let me read it for the folks, okay? So,
Okay.
quote, you want to play with the best. You don't want to play with the Big Ten. You ignore those calls. And then it goes on to say the SEC, it's like week after week, you're going to get beat on. The Big Ten, you're not going to get beat on with the Purdue, Nebraskas.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts?
Well, okay. Well, let me put this in a way that it's still a student athlete who
Yes,
is
I know.
giving his opinion.
But it's part of it now.
But I would counterpoint that with the type of physicality that you do get in the Big Ten and the types of quarterbacks that have emerged from the Big Ten as well, that have gone on to do some great things over the last couple of decades, that competition served them extremely well. So, okay, I mean, to each is their own. And this is the total, you and I were joking about this last week, the SEC chant, and that's just an example of a quarterback essentially hanging the SEC banner probably in his living room somewhere and being able to say that. But this is where I always kind of laugh when you don't necessarily know the other side of it and you say stuff like that, and especially when you get a fan base like Nebraska, if there's any type of negative content and you're throwing Nebraska's name in there, I'm sure he's heard a lot from Nebraska fans. Hopefully it's been very civil, but nothing over the top. But yeah, let's talk about the depth of the SEC. Let's talk about the biggest SEC advocate in the entire world in Paul Feinbaum, who fully admitted after the season that the Big Ten has passed over the SEC. And I think not only did he talk about the elite level of both Michigan and Ohio State getting now back-to-back national championships and representing the conference, but there was also a talk about the depth of it too. Now with the additional teams out west, Oregon was a very good team. USC is no slouch whatsoever. Washington was just in the national championship game 2 years ago. I know they had a little bit more of a down year this year. So you're adding depth on top of those elite teams. And so isn't that the one thing we always talked about the SEC, even the years that they lacked the elite national championship team, is that the depth of that conference was far better than anyone else. I would say the Big Ten is starting to not only match them with national championships with the back-to-backs, Michigan and Ohio State, but now you're seeing the amount of teams that are bowl eligible, the teams that have even some of the bottom parts of the conference that have been able to spring upsets, that have shown that they can play with some of those elite teams like an Ohio State and like a Michigan. So let's start to just come correct when you say you're not going to have that type of worry every week in the Big Ten like you do in the SEC. I would say the two are extremely comparable, and I think the most recent years have backed that up.
Yes. He will learn very quickly and hopefully pass it along to make sure you don't speak negatively about Nebraska. I just, it's kind of been, a little bit interesting this season because I know that there's a lot of people that, we got questions about Greg McElroy yesterday about saying that Nebraska's going to have a top 10 defense. And there are some analysts that are really high. Pat McAfee's another one. But then there's still some of those ones that have it's kind of crazy that it's really on both ends of the spectrum of what people's thoughts and maybe expectations are of Nebraska going into this season.
You know where I see the biggest challenge or roadblock? Essentially, I think when you're a national pundit, you come to a crossroads. And I think that you have the one part of you that says, I really believe in the history of Matt Rule as a college football coach. And I really believe in the way that he's constructing this current Nebraska roster and program. getting a lot of young talent in there and getting that young talent exposed to the big-time football right away, doing some things that are a little more unconventional when it comes to playing a true freshman, and then that following year, like a Riley Van Poppel, all of a sudden, hey, you know what, this is going to be a development year. Want to get you the taste right out of the gate, but now that following year, we're going to develop you, let a couple of the upperclassmen finish out strong. You get to work and develop your body and use that experience you had the year ago, and now you're going to be the dude when it comes to your third year. And that isn't necessarily all that common anymore in college football. So there are methods that I think are not going overlooked by a lot of the national pundits. So I think that collective feeling around Matt Rule is largely positive, and the staff that he has, and not just Matt Rule, but the staff that he has.
Yeah,
but then I think there is also, I will not get burned by this team again. I will not put 9 or 8 wins on my preseason projection until they actually do it. So that's the crossroads of, I believe in Matt Rule, but I can't get caught up into that Nebraska hype because the recent history has burned me before. And so sometimes even your eyeballs will tell you, this thing looks like it's going in the right direction and it's going to get better. Yet you've done that before, you've been burned, and so you don't want to do it again because everyone's always quick to point fingers at everyone, whether it's local media or national media, when you get a prediction wildly wrong. That I feel like there is that trust factor with Nebraska, and I always use that word trust, where I think there's a lot of the national, and I think to some extent the local media too, that you just don't know if you can trust fully to put Nebraska at that upper echelon of wins, of the 9 or dare I even say 10 wins, or even 8 in some cases, because you've seen teams before that look like they projected to have that type of win total. The schedule might have presented itself, the amount of returning starters, just what you've been able to gauge and see in increments, thinking, yeah, this looks like everything is going to work itself out to where Nebraska's set to have a solid season, and then for whatever reason it doesn't happen. And so I think there is that fear of getting burned again. So I think a lot of people are in that boat of, I think they're going to be good. I think Matt Rule's the right coach to lead this program and to get it back to top 25 relevance. But until they do it, I can't put myself into that projection or that prediction of an 8 or 9 win season just yet. I think that's what you see a lot of people with that dilemma when it comes to projecting Nebraska for the upcoming season.
So right now this week, Ross Dellinger, of course, the guy, the go-to for all things happening at the highest level and the settlement, everything that's unfolding news with how the changing of this landscape has been over the last couple of years. He's the go-to, and I know Troy Dannon really thinks highly of him and says he is the source that seems to know the most about what's going on. So he's posting today, there's a committee meeting right now trying to maybe tweak the overall calendar of college football to better match up with the calendar year of the rev share era that we're moving into and how you can best match with the season and all of that. So there's 3 things that this committee is discussing and trying to tweak moving forward. The summer signing date for high school kids so they can sign maybe in the summer, even August, September, a single transfer portal. And I think this is where he was reporting that they're split. So the Big Ten coaches want it to stay in April. The SEC coaches are pretty adamant that it stays in January and just move to 1. And then maybe the OTAs, more of the spring practices that you're able to have, move some of those into June. Of those 3 things, I guess, what would be your number one? I would like to see this happen first.
Well, first of all, I'm going to address the winter transfer portal period because I think, and especially now with Nebraska in a bowl game last year, we got to see this for the first time in a while where you're juggling so many balls when it comes to bowl game preparation, but also being able to recruit on top of that. I mean, where you have the signing date at, the early signing period, in smack dab in the middle of December, but also that transfer portal window that is opening where you're trying to get guys to commit to you and be able to be eligible for the upcoming spring ball. I just wish that they would move that one back. Now, I'm not one of those people who thinks you need just one transfer portal window. But first and foremost, if it needs to be in the winter, I wish they could move that thing back, because how many people are waiting to the last minute to sign and they're barely able to enroll on time? I think those are very small cases. I think a lot of the situations that when guys are going to the transfer portal and they're trying to get eligible for that upcoming spring, I think a lot of them already know where they're going. And for, you know what, hey, and I think that's part of the risk you run when you're in the transfer portal. You put yourself in the transfer portal hoping for a better situation. It doesn't always happen. There's just too many transfer portal players in there, and not enough spots to go around, especially with maybe roster limitations now. So I just wish that thing could be shaved off a little bit to where if you're getting ready for a college football playoff game or even a bowl game in December and you're having to divert your attention from that preparation so you can get ready for the following year's roster, I think that does everyone a disservice. I think it does the current roster a disservice. I think it does the coaches a disservice. Now, you and I think are in agreement on this one, and I'm not sure if you're still there or not. I still think there is value in some type of a transfer portal post-spring because of the injuries that can take place during spring ball, where you might need a quick fix, where unfortunately an incoming freshman may not be able to fill that void. I just think there still is a need to have some type of a small but a definite window that's post-spring where you can address any immediate needs due to injury or due to, heck, even sometimes there's eligibility issues.
I'll interrupt you right there. The punter situation with Coach Eckler taking over the special teams. They come in and say, hey, we want to change up how we're doing it. We want a rugby-style punter. If that window isn't open, they're not able to make that change.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a great example of why I think that needs to exist. So whether that's just you do one transfer portal window and it's not till the spring, well, then how are you able to get some of those guys that you're going to have on your roster in the fall? How are you able to get them acclimated to the system that you could in the spring? So I think there's a lot of value. I understand the value of having it in the winter before the spring semester begins so you can have those players part of your spring ball and get them acclimated so everything's not so foreign to them when it comes fall camp. But I also think that there needs to be some type of ability, and maybe it's a special circumstances type portal, I don't know. But I think there needs to be some type of ability to be able to acquire out of the portal post-spring. As far as the summer, the next one I would say, so that's the one that I want to see figured out, where you're threading the needle on that. Because I do think you are having to thread the needle a little bit on the winter portal window and then whether to have multiple portal windows or not. I think there's a fine line. They just need to shave a week, at least, in my opinion, off of the winter one. As far as the summer signing period for high schoolers, I love that. I think that would be great as well. I just think that there are so many players that come out of there. And again, I think this works for both the players that want to be able to go into their upcoming football season and not worry about the college decision that they might have to make. And then for college coaches, too, where if this is going to reduce a little bit of that headache of, boy, he verbally committed, but now we've got between here and December. Yeah, you got to continue to re-recruit him when you can finally cross him off the list. Not cross him off the list, but you can say, all right, we got him signed, sealed, and delivered. Yep. Yeah, he's in, so let's put our focus on somebody else. And you're doing that during a college football season, too. Look, I get it. Coaches make a lot of money, okay? So people are not going to feel overly sorry for them. But I think you can get a much more efficient way of doing things if you allow these high school players to be able to sign in the summer, not having to wait to December, especially when a lot of them give you that verbal commitment as early as late spring into the summer. Why not just let them sign right then and there?
Yeah, and I mean, there's talks that they will be already kind of signing their contracts, I guess, if you will, and we'll be able to know and factor in. That's another thing, too, is as you start budgeting the rev share and how you're going to divvy out to each player's, then you have this guy locked in that you know what that's going to be, instead of having signees maybe commit later or fall through, and then it messes up with the budget, too. I think it would help navigate some of that as well if you got guys locked in. More so than just signing a big batch in December, and you have a better way of evaluating at least what you're looking at with the high school recruiting, the incoming high school recruiting class, because that's going to be a part of it. And it's part of the recruiting. It's part of how they're managing the roster. I mean, it's just part of it now. So I think it would help, too, when you're not just, trying to figure it out all at once with a batch of 25 signing all on that same day. And if things fall through, whatever, at least you got some guys that are locked in that maybe help you figure into that budget and how you're going to divvy out some of that to at least the high school group.
Well, yeah, and you're right, because the recruiting classes are going to be a lot smaller than what we have seen in previous years because of that reason, because you have to cap at a certain number, and you're not going to use all of those up because you got to leave some open for transfer portal commits coming up in the following season as well, or into that upcoming transfer portal window. So I just think that you're doing both the prospective student athlete a service by allowing them to just get it all behind them, and they can focus on everything that they want to focus on and actually enjoy a little bit of that. And I know there are some people that enjoy the recruiting process even more than maybe playing on Friday nights. I mean, that's just the reality. But I think with that limited number that you're going to see in these recruiting classes, at least from the high school standpoint, you can go from person to person. If there are people that want to sign and get it over with in the summer, then you're able to move on to them. And then, heck, by the time you get into the fall, you think about the amount of open slots or scholarships that you're going to have available at that time, where it's not nearly as taxing, I think, on the coaches. I think for college football, I'm looking at this through the Nebraska lens, just knowing how those certain games, remember that the Colorado game last year was such a huge recruiting weekend, and obviously it was a very big one for Nebraska. But you don't have to put so much emphasis on, okay, this is a big game, so that means it's also a big recruiting weekend too. I would love it for just to be a big game because of the competition on the field, and the coaches know that. They don't have to worry about, and we're also hosting these recruits. Look, I get it. They're probably more used to it now, but still, wouldn't you, if you got a coach in a candid conversation about this, wouldn't they just like to enjoy the big game for the competition itself and not necessarily the recruiting aspect of, and we also got to make sure we're taking care of this person and this person's good and they like our program? I feel like it would help both parties in that instance.
Yeah, and Ross reporting that I don't know if there's any way you could get a signing day in place this year, being that we're talking a month or two away, but maybe some tweaks to the transfer portal, maybe allowing some practices, some of those shifting of things could happen by July 1st. But it might be next year before these big changes are made, but maybe some tweaks will be made. But I do know that, he's reporting that they're hoping to have some decisions of these made by July 1st so that they can implement it into this new calendar year when, again, the fiscal year for athletics turns over on July 1. All right, before I let you get out of here, when you're down there and, spending time down there with the College World Series, you make it to Rocco's?
So we were there on Sunday just to check it out. I want to see how crazy it was. And of course, you had some pretty lively fan bases that were present. Coastal Carolina actually had a few more fans than I thought they might actually have. But I'm glad that we avoided the previous evening where they had to shut down early because there was a big fight that broke out. So,
man. Yeah, and Livy Dunn's there.
Livy Dunn and Paul Skeens were there, yeah.
So it's become quite the spot to go to. So just wondered if you contributed to any of the growing numbers for any of the teams.
So we did not, because the folks between Omaha Steaks and Cross Train took very good care of us. We had full stomachs for sure between the burgers, and I had a nice cold beer or two because it was Father's Day. So I felt at that point Jell-O shots probably not gonna work. But yeah, we had to kind of walk down there and check out that area for sure.
Good stuff. Well, thanks again for being here with us tonight, and I think we'll talk tomorrow again as well. Yep. So appreciate it, and have a good rest of the night.
All right, you as well.
Nick Hanley here with us on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Got to step aside for a break. More of the show coming up after this.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing available across a full lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Employee pricing, you pay what we pay. Only from your local Ford dealer.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule. With your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or get us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sapbros.net/Huskers.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Command the road in your new vehicle from Woodhouse GMC. Lease the 2025 GMC Sierra 1500 double cab elevation 4x4 for $595 a month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. Visit us in-store and online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Woodhouse Buick GMC. We are professional grade. With approved credit. Must currently lease a 2020 or newer Buick or GMC vehicle to qualify. Offer applies to select stock numbers. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number V250615. Offer expires 6/30/2025. See dealer for details.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Who are you?
I'm the Truck Fairy.
You mean the Tooth Fairy?
No, Truck Fairy. I appear when someone dreams about winning one of the 8 new trucks in the Nebraska Lottery's Trucks and Bucks scratch game.
Oh, so you leave Trucks and Bucks tickets under my pillow?
No.
Cash?
Sorry.
What exactly do you do?
Remind people to play today.
Don't think I need a Truck Fairy for that.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Play Trucks and Bucks from your Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. I'm Jessica Coody. We've talked this week some big news with Husker softball with a couple new additions coming into the program. Most recently, Hannah Coor, the 3-time national champion outfielder from Oklahoma. Teammates great friends with Jordy Ball. Hannah joining us here now to talk about that decision. Hannah, thank you so much for being here with us. We are so excited that you're a Husker, and I know Husker Nation is too.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here as well.
Well, let's just start. You spent your 3 years at Oklahoma, but when you enter the portal, you have a lot of options. I know that you could go to across the country. What landed you on Nebraska? What did you feel like this was the best spot for you for your final year?
Instantly, I fell in love with Coach Ravel.
Yeah.
She really connected to me in my heart. And when I went out there on my visit, I got to reunite with one of my best friends, Jordy Ball. So that was pretty cool. And being on campus, it just felt like home, like right away. So that was pretty cool.
Tell us about your relationship with Jordy. You were roommates with her. From what I'm told, I hear, little birdie, you're going to be a bridesmaid in her upcoming wedding. Yep. But what is it about that relationship that was so special for you?
We're very similar. So we enjoy doing the same things, whether it's waking up super early to go fishing or just hanging around, having something to laugh about. But yeah, we've been friends probably since senior year of high school. We kind of got to know each other, and then freshman year we were roommates in the dorm, and then we lived with each other my sophomore year as well. So we've been friends for a minute.
Besides just being friends, great friends, and connecting on that level, as a softball player, how exciting is it to play with the pitcher, the caliber of pitcher and now hitter in Jordy Ball?
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. She's one of the greatest competitors I've ever seen, and I'm excited to feed off of her and push myself more just from playing with her again. So very excited.
I know you've played a role throughout your last three seasons at Oklahoma. It's been documented. You got hurt this year. How are you feeling? You feeling pretty healthy going into the offseason? I guess, where are you at there?
100%. I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Well, what does the process look like for you? When are you getting here? And then what are the goals as you go into what's now your final season?
Yeah, still figuring all that out. I'll probably be there mid-July. Working all those details out. But I'm very excited to start up out there and work with the girls and the coaches, and I think it's going to be a special year, and I'm ready just to add some more fire to that team that was already pretty filled with fire, so that'll be a lot of fun.
When I talked to you before we started this interview, I said Husker Nation is excited about you. You said, I felt it. How was that, just getting that kind of response from Husker fans?
That was awesome. I had posted my announcement on Twitter and Instagram, and it instantly blew up, and everyone was so happy. So I've gotten all good things, and I've definitely felt all the love.
For those that might not know, again, you were part of 3 national champions there at championships at Oklahoma. As you went through those runs, not easy, and we've talked to Jordy about this too. But what are some of the things that you learned about having a team go the distance, be where every softball player wants to be at the end with raising a trophy? What are some of maybe those things that you're looking to bring and add here at Nebraska?
Just the whole experience of it all, knowing what it takes and all of that. It's a whole lot of fun, but it's a whole lot of hard work. And if you do it the right way, it means something at the end. But just having all those memories in my head and those experiences that I'm going to bring to Nebraska, and me and Jordy kind of share some of those experiences and memories, so it'll be pretty fun.
Were you surprised to see Jordy hit the way she hit this year?
No, I knew she was a hitter. I knew she was a hitter this whole time.
Well, you said at the beginning that Coach Ravel spoke to your heart. What was it about, just getting to connect with her that you really felt that with her?
Yeah, I think that's what really sold me. She sees me as a person and sees me for my heart, not just a product on the field, and that was pretty cool to feel. So I'm very excited to compete for her and with her, just because we already have that personal connection. So, yeah.
You posted just such a powerful, heartfelt message when you announced that you were going to be a Husker, and just playing for that little girl that fell in love with the game. And is again just really powerful. Can you take us through, I guess, a little bit behind that and why it's been important for you to embrace that going into what is going to be your final season?
Yeah, so I do have 1 year left. It will be my 5th year. And just like looking back at all the experiences I've gone through just with injury and being at Oklahoma, and I carry all those experiences close to my heart, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But my journey has not been easy. It's been very difficult just dealing with injury and what comes with injury. And I did fall out of love with the game like along the ways, but I'm slowly falling back into it, and I'm ready to go and play for the little girl inside of me and just be very proud of myself and leave the field how I want to.
Oh, I love that. It's so important. I feel like it's for a lot of players that work in progress. I mean, even Jordy talked about that, just even with the injury, as devastating as it was, kind of a reset. How important is it to remember that, hey, this is a game and it's fun at the core of it, right?
Yep. Very much.
Okay, well, you said you like to fish. Tell us about that. How much into fishing are you, I guess?
I'm not an expert. I just go out there and I like to pull my truck up and sit in the tailgate and just cast, hopefully catch something, but just a little escape from all the stress and pressure that comes with what I do and what we all do. So it's just a little escape for me to just turn my phone off and be whoever I want to be at that time.
Has it been something you've always been into, or you discovered it recently? Where did the hobby come from?
Definitely a lot in college. So my freshman year, it was me, Jordy, Grace Lyons, TRA, Grace Green, all of them. We'd all go to the little farm pond in Norman, and we'd all just go fishing.
So you got your fishing pole packed up, I'm assuming, because I know Jordy probably knows all the places to take you fishing here, right?
Yep. I'm excited for that.
What else do Husker fans need to know about you?
I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go the distance with this team, and I feel we can, and I know we can, and I'm just super excited to show the world and, prove myself right, not worry about what others got to say or think, but just proving myself right.
Just seeing the reaction from, Sooner fans, but then your teammates, and even just seeing some of the photos and videos of you, it just seems like you are an incredible teammate. How has that been important to your role as you have fought through injuries, just to find other ways to contribute and to be there for your teammates?
Yeah, 100%. Especially when I wasn't able to be on the field because of my injury. Just trying to be the best teammate that I can be at that time because I can't perform for my team. So I just got to be the biggest cheerleader or whatever I needed to be at that time. But that's always just been instilled into me, like since I was a kid, just being a good teammate, because I'm fighting with my team as much as I can, even if I can't be out there on the field with them, but just being a good teammate.
Great stuff. Again, congratulations. We're excited to get you here in Lincoln, but appreciate you spending some time with us. And we're excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Again, Hannah Coor, the senior outfield transfer coming from Oklahoma, where she was a part of 3 national championships, joining Husker softball, and her best friend, Jordy Ball, here for her final season playing college softball. Appreciate her time with us here on Sports Nightly. Hey, Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee, where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99 in-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Who are you?
I'm the truck fairy.
You mean the tooth fairy?
No, truck fairy. I appear when someone dreams about winning one of the 8 new trucks in the Nebraska Lottery's Trucks and Bucks scratch game.
Oh, so you leave trucks and bucks tickets under my pillow?
No.
Cash?
Sorry.
What exactly do you do?
Remind people to play today.
Don't think I need a truck fairy for that.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Play Trucks and Bucks from your Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Welcome back. Got a couple segments left here on Sports Nightly on this Tuesday night edition. Really appreciate Hannah Coor hopping in with us here tonight. I had a couple things I wanted to say coming back from that. First of all, if you follow Jordy Ball on any of her social media platforms, you can see how just ecstatic that she is to have Hannah Coor on board. This is a big piece to a team that's got a lot of returning talent that went to the Super Regionals, and then you have a National Player of the Year player in Jordy Ball coming back. But you lose 2 pretty big pieces, seniors that have been a part of this program for a long time, outfielder Abby Squire, and so this is where Hannah Coor comes in. She can fill that role in the outfield. And then Ava Breadwell behind the plate also graduates. So Jessie Farrell, the UNLV catcher, comes in to fill that role. So, but I love what Hannah had said about, first of all, Coach Ravel. I think we all can agree that you fall in love with her heart. And we have spent a lot of time talking about how these football recruits come in And I would imagine they have a hard time saying no to Coach Rule. I don't know how anybody says no to Coach Ravel, just her genuineness and just how much she cares. And so I loved what she said about that and just re-falling in love with the game. So I'm so excited for her and excited. I think a good addition. As Jordy pointed out, you can tell she's a really great human being, but also I think going to be a heck of a piece for the softball team as they look to, again, continue to maybe make it to Oklahoma City this time, or almost this time a year ago. Sticking with the theme of new Huskers, we had talked a little bit at the top of the show about the commitments coming in for Husker volleyball here over the last 24 hours, and add another one to it. If you follow the Husker coaching staff, you could get a sense that there were going to be maybe 5 commitments that we would learn about. We had heard about 3, and over the last few minutes or so, we have found out the 4th commitment, and it is indeed an outside hitter, 6'3", Shea Witherspoon, another top 10 prospect, a 2-time Missouri State champion out of Wildwood, Missouri. So Shea Witherspoon, the outside hitter, to go along with the setter, Mallory Bosiger out of Norris High School here in Nebraska, sister of Macy. And Macy posted such a sweet video. Macy got really emotional when she committed, and just such a cool moment between the sisters. But Kendall Murray, the middle blocker, the #1 recruit in the country, and her club teammate Hua Lacona, the libero. So you got a libero, outside hitter, middle blocker, and setter. So, and expecting to maybe hear one more commitment coming up here at any time. So been a busy day for Husker volleyball, and you can tell they're excited about this group as well. All right, got to get to our final break here. We're back to wrap up hour number 2 next.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Your next vehicle is waiting for you at Woodhouse. With over 20 locations and a variety of brands, Woodhouse offers everything from reliable trucks to family-friendly SUVs. Whether you're looking for a Nissan, Mazda, or Infiniti, our team is here to help you find the perfect fit. Enjoy a seamless car buying experience with our expert staff and exceptional service. Visit Woodhouse today, where quality, selection, and customer satisfaction come first. Or get started online at woodhouse.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to our final segment here, hour number 2 of Sports Nightly on this Tuesday evening. I'm Jessica Coody, and I know it's asked earlier in the YouTube chat about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the win last night. I was one happy camper last night and into today. And I mentioned even last night when we were signing off the air, it looks like the Thunder were on a run and had built up a little bit of a lead. But I said, hey, I know that long way to go. And, of course, they had built up a big lead. Indiana ends up cutting it to 2. I was a little bit nervous, but I do think it's a young Thunder team. They have learned, I think, from previous losses that have come back to bite them, and they ended up closing it out at home. So I was really excited, and now the question is, that atmosphere, I know I've talked about it a lot. You're probably sick of me saying it, but it's just unbelievable. And for the Thunder to maybe win their first NBA title, it's almost like I wanted to go back to Oklahoma City. I wouldn't complain if they went ahead and won it in Game 6. But it would be really special if they did win it in Oklahoma City in Game 7. But Jalen Williams, J-Dub, as he is lovingly referred to in Oklahoma City, they bark at him. I guess it goes back to Chet Holmgren said he was a dog in an interview and barked, and so it was kind of a joke, and then it took on. And so if you're listening to the game and you hear in the background barking, that's why. But a 40-point outing. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a 31-point performance as well, but Jalen Williams playing so well off SGA, and I think that's what makes the Thunder so dangerous. They've got other guys that can help out SGA when needed, but SGA is just in a league of his own. I know Tyrese Halliburton was hurt, and he is scheduled to have an MRI with that strained calf. That helped the Thunder's case as well, but also got to credit the defense. Unbelievable defense being played by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that's the difference between when I've been a fan a long time. And so you go back to when the Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, when that crew was in the NBA Finals and even had a couple Western Conference Finals appearances, they did not play defense like this Thunder team. And so that, to me, is the difference maker between these two teams. And Alex Caruso, unbelievable. He made some game-changing plays, but hey, found a way to win. So in the win column, and now take the series lead to Indiana. And yeah, so I know no need to say it. You guys know, you've heard me talk about it here over the last couple of weeks. I was very elated last night with it. The Thunder closed it out. So excited to see how they do. And like I said, I don't think I'd be upset if they lost Game 6 and it went back Game 7 and gave the Thunder a chance to clinch at home. All right, that is going to do it for me here tonight. We have a 2-0 ball game in the top of the 5th. UCLA has some runners on with 2 outs in the top of the 5th, but Arkansas still up 2-0 there in the College World Series. And again, if you listen to this show the last couple of weeks, you know I am rooting for UCLA in the Big Ten, so we can chant Big Ten or B1G, but they got to get some runs on the board here in the top of the 5th. But that is going to do it for me. What a fun show. Appreciate Andrew Ivins. Great perspective on Husker football recruiting and just the momentum that they've been able to build coming off that 7-on-7 Boneyard Bash. I am going to post that full interview on our podcast platform. So if you missed it, you want to go back, listen to it, that will be up there as, he detailed just the things that are being done here that it makes it believe that it's Coach Rhule's going to get it done, but then and the facilities and also Trey Taylor. So lots of great stuff there. And then also appreciate Hannah Coor. Love chatting with her as well. One of the new commits out of the transfer portal with Husker softball. Coming up tomorrow night, the only thing I know for sure is that we're going to hear from Campbell Flynn of Husker volleyball as we continue our newcomer series. So other than that, I'll plan the rest of it tomorrow morning, but you can plan on hearing from Campbell Flynn here tomorrow night. Thanks to Camden and David and also Nick for hopping in for us here at the beginning of this hour. That's going to do it for us, but we will be back again tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly with a full 2 hours. Have a great night, Husker Nation.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing available across a full lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Employee pricing. You pay what we pay. Only from your local Ford dealer.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
This is the Huskers Radio Network.